My name is Kristen Untalon, and I'm going to be going over my lesson analysis about the lesson Hypothesizing About Bugs by Miss Nadia Yaboneta. I noticed two instructional models in Miss Yabonetta's lesson, the first being the cooperative or collaborative learning model in examples such as Miss Yaboneta bringing a teacher's helper, Miss Marin, up to the front of the class to talk about what she had noticed about bugs. A second example of this learning model would be when Miss Yaboneta broke the class down into smaller groups to test their hypotheses. The second instructional model I noticed was the inquiry learning model in examples such as those small groups where the children were testing and investigating the hypotheses that they had written down as a class. A second example was near the end of the video when Miss Yaboneta brought the class back together as a group to draw conclusions on the tests that they had done and to review whether their hypotheses were true or whether they needed to be adjusted. I thought Miss Yaboneta's lesson was extremely engaging. It seemed like she had the attention of every single one of her students. She was constantly asking open-ended questions to get the students' mind moving, but to also help them think in a bigger way. She even said herself that she tries not to answer their questions directly, but instead to help them explore and investigate their hypotheses together. I thought this lesson had so many strengths that it was honestly difficult for me to narrow it down to just three. In the beginning of the video, I noticed that this school was based in San Francisco, and I thought it was so incredible how Miss Yaboneta and her fellow teachers are able to have nature lessons in a big city like San Francisco. This lesson was about bugs, but I also noticed that they had things like pine cones and leaves and tree branches that they had collected to share with the students. Another strength of this lesson was that Miss Yaboneta was using child-led learning. She said that her and her staff try to let the children come up with their own interests for them to build lessons off of. So for example, Miss Marin shared her interest in bugs, and Miss Yaboneta grew the lesson about bugs from what Marin was interested in. Lastly, another strength was how Miss Yaboneta gathered the class at the end of the day to talk about what they had come up with in the beginning, their initial hypotheses, how they tested them, and how it all comes together in the end. I could not come up with any better recommendations for this lesson. I thought Miss Yaboneta did a flawless job. She was incredibly engaging. She created opportunity for teamwork in the small groups and for the children to have hands-on activity with the bugs and with testing their own hypotheses. And I thought coming back together as a class at the end of the day to discuss what they had learned created a well-rounded lesson. Thank you so much for listening to my review about hypothesizing about bugs and Miss Nadia Yaboneta's lesson plan.